Hello everyone! Grid journaling is mixed media play in small squares. It's really easy. I got this originally from Kellee Wynne, and her YouTube channel is in the description box below. She's got a whole mini course if you want to go directly to that and see how she does stuff. I do things a little bit differently. For me, grid journaling is a way to use the supplies that I have and to play around with color and with color combinations. So if you're just starting, this is a really good place to begin. I recommend just a piece of copy paper, and that way you can try it out and you haven't lost anything, you haven't used up a sketchbook or whatever. And what's nice about this is if you do like it, you can put it in a page protector, you can punch holes in it, put it in a binder, and you can write notes on the back. What supplies you used, what colors you used, what techniques you used, anything else that you might want to remind yourself of in a future grid journaling session. So if you're just starting out and don't know where to start, just start. Just try it out on a piece of paper. For my supplies today, I wanted things that everybody has, so I've got acrylic paint in teal. I chose one color. Just for if you're just starting, choose one color. Wait till you get into it before you start playing around with color combinations. It gets a little bit more confusing that way. If you just choose one color, it's more simple. So I chose teal, and I've got these three colors of acrylic paint: light, medium, and dark. I chose washi tape. I wanted something contrasting, so I've got stripes and polka dots in black and white. You can use collage papers. I've got 3 different collage papers here. You don't have to use collage paper, and this is way too much, but I'll get into that later. And I've got some tools here. I also have a Stabilo All Pencil and a pen in a teal-ish light blue kind of thing. All right, so to start off with, you want to put squares on your paper. And this is not, I don't measure out my squares, either does Kellee. I have a piece of playing card, that I cut 2 by 2 inches. So they're small squares. And I don't measure. I just draw with a pencil around the squares. Just kind of guesstimate and just kind of make my squares. It doesn't have to be exact. It doesn't have to be precise. It doesn't have to be anything. Just, and if you do it in pencil, you can erase them later. So that's basically how you get your squares. So you don't have to watch me do all of them. I did them. All right. And the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to use some paint. Let me pull this aside here. And a paintbrush in the light and the medium. And I'm just going to put out just a little. I tend to put too much out, and then I have to figure out what to do with the rest of it. I'm just putting out a little. You don't need much. And I am just going to paint in the squares, and if I color outside the lines, oh well. And I'm not going to do each color in each square. I'm just going to do some weird stuff and just add this color in different places, different amounts, different thicknesses. Doesn't matter, just adding some paint. Okay, that's all the light one. Let's use some of this dark one. Put some there. And I'm not worried about going out of the lines. I'm just playing around. How can I fill the squares, use up my paint? Doesn't matter. And that's the fun of this. It doesn't really matter what you do. Use up all this paint. And I forgot to get me some water, so I'm going to pause real fast so I can clean out this brush and come right back and let this paint dry a little bit. Okay, so the next thing I am going to do, I am going to add a little bit of collage. And like I was saying, this is way too much for what I want. So I am just going to rip off a little bit of these. Oops. I just want a little bit. You don't want a ton of this. And I'm going to add some washi tape too. So I am going to add a little bit of collage to some of the squares and a little bit of washi tape at the same time. And again, I'm not going to put all of these in the same amounts or anything. I'm just going to randomly put a little bit here and a little bit there. The straight edges somewhere, different shaped pieces. And let me use that other little piece. So it hardly takes any collage fodder. If you're using collage fodder, painted papers or whatever you have, it doesn't take a lot. Let's do a square-ish piece. Put that up here. I want the squares to be a little different. I don't want them all to be exactly the same, so I'm not putting a lot of the same stuff in the same places. Just a little bit. Let me put one more piece of this up here. And then let me put some washi tape in some places. Let's see, let's get that whole bottom done about there. And I could put some glue underneath, but I'm just not going to worry about it. If it comes up, I'll just glue it down later. Oops. Scooch it over just a little bit. And where'd my end go? There it is. I want just a little piece right there. So I have different size pieces. Let me get some stripes. And let me put something over here. I lost my end again. And put that there. I like that black. And put that little bit right there. And that is plenty. If I want to add a little bit more later, I will. So I've hardly done anything. Okay. And I think I might make some marks. Let's see. I like circles. So some Stabilo All circles. And some lines. Let's see, I can turn this thing around. Another great reason to use just a piece of paper. It's easy to scooch around. And just do some fun little mark making. No thinking. I think I need some black in here somewhere. Uh-oh, I need to sharpen my pencil. Let's see, and there's no black in this one. So we'll do that. And let me use this pen and just add some fun little circles somewhere. Maybe some lines. That seems enough for now. And I am going to use this dark teal color. I've got some tools over here. I've got a Q-tip, cotton swab, and I can make some polka dots with, or some circles. I put way too much of that paint down. I knew I would. Some fun little things. I also have a tape. Hope I had too much water on here. Didn't dry it off. I've got a paint or a tape roll. Put that in a couple of places. Maybe 3 places. And I've got a little pencil eraser for some circles. You can use a lid anything for circles. I love circles. And just play around. I try to make the squares all different, something interesting. Let's see. They're all really, really different. So I'm going to leave it at that because I really like this. And I'm going to use, where did it happen to the brush? A little bit of a damp brush to activate some of these Stabilo All marks. Because I just like the way they look when they're all runny. Way too much color on those. And it doesn't matter that it goes out of the square to me. It just makes it more interesting. And I will let that dry. This needs a Stabilo mark here, I think. I'll circle that. It was a light mark, so just a little bit of color there. And, you know, and I could stop there. This is really, really a simple thing to do. You can make it as complicated or as simple as you want. It doesn't have to be crazy wild. It's more of playing around with your supplies and having fun just doing stuff. Nothing more than that. Doesn't really matter what happens when I go over wet spots with acrylic paint. It's just the process of having a little bit of fun and not caring what happens. I usually take my time when I do this kind of thing. I get lost in it just playing around. I will spend quite a bit of time painting squares and then playing around with the collage bits. I'll put things down, see how I like it, move things around, just mess around, walk away for a while, come back and see what happened, and if I like that, come back, add marks, make them wet or whatever with if I'm using Stabilo All Pencil, and then let them dry and see what happens. Sometimes I make more marks. It's just a matter of messing around, playing, and it's really nice not to feel like you need to do anything in particular. You can just play around and see what happens. And if you don't like it, you haven't really lost anything. So that is it. And I could add even more. I could get watercolor out in metallics and really snazz these things up, or leave them as is. It depends on what you like. If you like it that way, just leave it. And if you want to keep adding stuff, keep adding stuff. This is the perfect way to play around and not worry about the final stuff. You're not really making anything. So that is just the basics with acrylic paint and washi tape. I use watercolors often. I use everything. I like this for using up my supplies, getting things out that I haven't had for years. So I hope this helps, gives you an idea of how to start, where to go. This one is really just a simple one. Hope you like it. And I do hope you try grid journaling. It really is relaxing and it's really a lot of fun. Thanks for watching.